Oh yes, I was totally going to talk about this. Because it wouldn't be DCEU month without it. Readers, DCEU month is almost over. So I figured I'd spend some time away from Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice and instead focus today's lesson on the second DCEU movie that we'll be getting this year in August, Suicide Squad. I'm not gonna lie, readers. When I found out that this was the second movie that we're going to be getting in the DCEU after Dawn of Justice, I wasn't really that interested. Mostly because the multiple iterations of the comic book that it's based on weren't really my cup of tea, and to a certain extent they still aren't. Which means that if I were to tell you that I'll be going into this movie come August with the complete knowledge of Suicide Squad, I'd basically be lying my dick off. And I kinda need my dick, so I'm not going to do that. Whereas the idea of a team consisting of all villains that come from different members of Heroes' rogue galleries sound pretty good to me on paper, it's not really enough for me to want to spin paper on it in paper form. Then casting happened for it that I liked. Viola Davis as Amanda Waller, Will Smith as Deadshot, Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, and of course, Jared Leto as the Joker. Just those four were enough to ramp up my interest for the movie. Not to Dawn of Justice type levels, but enough to ramp up my interest. And the same could be said of the first trailer. But readers, when I saw the second trailer for this movie, I realized that this is exactly what the DCEU needs. Readers, Suicide Squad has the potential to break the mold of what we've come to know about DC films, at least up until Man of Steel. Christopher Nolan's sense of realism has been a staple within DC films ever since the Dark Knight trilogy has generated stories. But it's because of that realism that DC has left out that fantastic element that superhero films are supposed to deliver. They could have easily introduced the Lazarus Pit or the concept of Venom in The Dark Knight Rises, but it would have contradicted against the feeling of realism within the world. Christopher Nolan thought that the Penguin was too fantastic to put in the trilogy, despite him being one of the most normal motherfuckers in Batman's rogues gallery. You have no idea how badly I wanted to see Killer Croc on the big screen, and thanks to Suicide Squad, we're going to have it. This movie has the potential to introduce these characters into the DCEU in a way that fits the overall tone of the universe, and be both entertaining and serious, which I feel a lot of people get confused with realism nowadays. If Guardians of the Galaxy has taught us anything, it's that you can make a comic book movie fun and entertaining without saturating it in camp. And it can be just as successful as a movie that's more serious in tone, that's also not saturated in camp. Which has been Warner Brothers' problem since fucking Batman and Robin. Too much camp! Readers, if we can learn anything from Warner Brothers about comic book movies from them making Suicide Squad, it's that the status quo is never set in stone. The changes you can make to things that other people have already accepted as the norm can be just as effective, and can fill the void that some may say has been missing since it was established, without being fucking ridiculous. Like ice skates in boots ridiculous. Like fucking Bat credit card ridiculous. But readers, your homework assignment for the day. Write in the comments section below if you're anticipating Suicide Squad, and whether or not you think its feel and pace is just what the DCEU needs. Because I do. My God, I do. Anyways, this is Readus 101. Class dismissed.